You're wondering why I'm starting off this video with such a crappy looking image. Well, that's because we're going to make it look like this. Understanding lighting techniques and lighting design are imperative to quality content creation and filmmaking. In this video, I will be going through the industry standards when it comes to lighting a scene or a subject. First off, we have 3-point lighting. When setting up 3-point lighting, you will need these 3 lights: a key light, a fill light, and a backlight, which I will go into more detail on here in a second. This lighting technique will assist in almost every kind of video lighting, and once you master it, achieving the lighting look you want will be a lot easier. So let's dig into each element and see how it applies to our shot here. All right, so for the first one, we're gonna be talking about key light. The key light is the main lighting source for this scene. Its job is to illuminate the subject so that the viewer can see what's going on. In our example, the key light shines onto my face from screen right, on the left-hand side, but on screen right. And then the fill light. The fill light is an additional light that complements the key light, placed on the opposite side, and it balances any potentially distracting shadows the key light might leave. In this case, I have a small little aperture light, this guy right here, just off to the side on a little stand, and it is shining on my face ever so lightly. The difference in power between the key light and the fill light is called the contrast ratio, and plays a big role in setting the mood of the scene. For this example, you can see the fill light lit here on screen left is less intense than the key light was. This will set a good balance to finding my face. When I turn the key light back on, you will see my face is going to be pretty evenly lit with a slightly brighter look on screen right. Something like that. Finally, the backlight. The job of the backlight is to separate the subject from the rest of the scene. I'm using a small bulb behind me, and I'm using an aperture MC, I forget the name of them, magnetized the top up here, as my 2 practicals / backlights. But you can also use lamps, windows, anything to separate you from the background. If I turn off the key light and the fill light, you'll see the difference that it makes when I add these lights into the scene. And then we have hard lighting. The hard lighting setup creates a strong definition between light and shadow. As you can see in the scene, I have a light on my face with no diffusion. This creates a hard and more revealing light. You can see all the lines on my face and more definition in the shadows. Soft lighting. On the other hand, soft lighting provides less definition between light and shadow. It relies on larger, more diffused light sources, like the big aperture light dome lighting me right now. The key to making this look really soft is to get the diffuser as close to the subject as possible. The further away you get the light, the more contrast you will add. So for that instance, you can see how close I actually have this, where it comes into scene right, my left, but scene right, when I just barely pull it into scene, and it gets brighter, obviously, as I pull it closer, and darker as I push it away. And the further that I push this guy away, bear with me, creates more contrast. So the scene will get darker and the contrast will increase. If I increase the brightness of this light, something like that, too bright, but you get the point. It still is soft, but it doesn't look as good as, low. God, don't drop on me. So we're still in scene, but you get the point. See how much better that looks? Soft lighting can conceal wrinkles and smooth features, making faces appear more youthful, open, and friendly. Bounce light. When we bounce a light, we will be using a hard or diffused light pointed at a reflector, and that is bounced back to the subject. This offers another great way to achieve a soft light look. You can use different bounces to achieve different looks. Here are a few examples of different color bounces. Gold, giving a much warmer look. Silver, giving a much cooler look. And then white, which will give me a very soft look. Then we have high key lighting. High key lighting is bright and upbeat. It generally denotes a positive or optimistic tone. This type of lighting puts the audience at ease since nothing in the frame is concealed in the shadows. The overall goal is to create as welcoming an image as I possibly can. And then we have low key lighting. Not like low key lighting, but low key lighting. It describes an overall dimmer scene. This lighting technique leaves pools of shadows to keep the parts of the frame hidden from the audience. It's perfect for establishing both literal and figurative darkness in a scene. Think of like the Batman. Cameo lighting, or side lighting, is a staple in film noir or other kinds of gritty dramas. It highlights a single subject against an otherwise darkened background. In this example, a strong key light highlights my left eye, while the rest of my body and the background remains in relative darkness. And when you add a line like "I'm Batman" to it, it makes it that much better. 3-point lighting setups can feel rigid in the studio, but you can add interest to your lighting setups by integrating ambient light sources. Ambient or available lighting refers to the light sources that are already present in your scene. These can be broken down into 2 general categories: natural lighting and practical lighting. Natural lighting refers to any setup that uses the sun as a primary light source. Practical lighting. This kind of lighting is similar to natural lighting in that it makes use of the light sources already in the scene. The goal of motivated lighting is to illuminate natural light sources in the film scene, such as the sun. Here we're using a source of light that is not natural. I am shooting this at night. This gives me more control over the light, and I can shape the light the way that I want, and also not worry about varying lighting from clouds or other variables. This used with practical lighting, along with some practical effects like branches or leaves, windows, etc., give off a lot of characteristics in the end. Once you have the basics of 3-point lighting down, experiment with different variations and light sources to strike the perfect mood for your scene. Strike a balance between illuminating the scene and telling the story. Dozens of subtle choices go into even the simplest lighting setup. So it's important to understand the different lighting techniques for film and video. And now that you know the tricks of the trade, you're ready to light your next project. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys got something from this. Make sure to hit that, thumb up if you want to, and subscribe if you haven't already. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.